Chapter 6.
Gather around.
Lenny called to tourists flowing down the sidewalk.
Test your luck with a spin of the wheel.
A few people gathered in front of Lenny's homemade wooden wheel propped in a nude mannequin's arms.
It's free to play. How about you, my dear? Care to tempt fate with a spin?
The woman shook her head and took a step back.
Why don't I have one of my lovely assistants spin first?
Lenny offered to the growing crowd.
Should it be the lovely blonde on my left or the bar wench on my right?
A few answers murmured through the crowd.
I can't hear you!
Lenny taunted.
Who do you want?
Bar wench. The answer was much louder.
I still can't hear you.
Lenny cuffed his hand to his ear. Bar wench! The answer boomed.
You heard the crowd. Bar wench, spin the wheel.
I inched near the wheel, reading the different fates. Free shot, kiss a stranger, show your boobs, get married, and several spots to win money. I'm not showing my boobs, I hissed at Lenny.
I've got this wheel rigged.
He whispered from the side of his mouth.
I'll make sure it stops somewhere else. I don't want to see your boobs anyway.
Placing my hand on the wheel, I gave one of the spokes a tug down. The wheel spun, gradually ticking its way slower as I watched it settle on 0.0. Kiss a stranger. Seriously? I growled. Lenny smirked.
Who will be the lucky gentleman?
There were a few raised hands and shouts. One man pushed through the crowd.
I'll take that honor,
Caleb said. I blinked and took a step back as he stepped closer. He caught me with a sly smile.
Kiss me, or you might find yourself kissing a gross stranger.
My eyes caught on his as he lowered his head, capturing my lips. Warmth flooded as he deepened the kiss. I grasped the back of his shirt, giving in to the unexpected.
I missed you.
He murmured on my lips and took a step back. When my hands still clung to his shirt, he gave a low chuckle.
We're supposed to be strangers, remember?
I hopped back.
Who wants a chance at the wheel?
Lenny called. Women scrambled to the wheel, their eyes targeting Caleb.
Can I steal her for a moment?
Caleb called to Lenny, who was in the middle of a swarm, grinning like he'd hit the jackpot.
Only if you bring her back,
He said, eyeing his first victim. Caleb wrapped his arm around my shoulder and led me from the crowd.
Where have you been? I've called you.
I know. He pulled me into an alcove between buildings.
You could have returned my calls. You haven't even played at Lost City. What's going on?
I bit my lip. I'd have to explain the story one more time. I looked up to find his gaze lingering on my lips. It's a long story.
Then tell me.
His fingers brushed against my jaw.
I see you've been picking fights again. Are you hurt?
I'm fine. It's barely a bruise.
Tell me what's going on.
When I shrugged, not knowing what to say or how to begin, he said,
You can tell me now, or you can tell me tonight in your bedroom.
I hesitated and took a step back, finding myself pressed against the wall. He stepped forward and placed his hands on either side of me, trapping me in the cozy corner.
Tell me.
I sighed, focusing on his chest instead of his piercing blue eyes. If I tell you, will you promise not to get mad?
Whatever happened, we'll call it even for all the dumb things I've done.
I smirked. Fair. His jaw twitched only twice during my confession. He dropped his forehead to mine.
So you're married to a thief?
Technically, I don't know if he's a thief.
The point is you're married.
He growled. You said you wouldn't get mad.
You make it really difficult.
So, what have you been doing? I asked, switching the subject. He wasn't fooled, but answered the question.
I've been working on my Omaha game. There's a tournament in a few days. I'm a bit rusty.
I'm sure you'll be fine. He always is. What are you doing on this side of the strip? He chuckled.
I'm not answering that.
A woman? I said more as a statement. It was his turn to shrug.
I can't say no. Why don't we go out tonight instead?
I'm working, I said, gesturing to my costume. Caleb's eyes flashed to Lenny's wheel.
I don't think they need you.
If Lenny and Maya are involved, I'm sure I'm needed. The temptation to toss responsibility to the wind and spend time with Caleb was overwhelming. He nuzzled my neck.
What if I beg?
A smile crept to my lips. I'd like to see that, but I can't, I hurriedly added. I'm supposed to distract Charming tonight so Lenny can steal his customers. Caleb straightened.
Just how are you going to distract him?
Hopefully with this outfit, I said. He has a thing for fair maidens. His eyes raked over the dress.
There's nothing fair about this dress.
His fingers grazed the bodice's outline. His touch fell on the swells of my breasts barely contained in the tight bodice. A breath shuddered through me. His lips curled.
Are you sure you don't want to take the night off? I'll be your Charming.
Are you hitting on a married woman? I asked, postponing answering his proposition until I could say no.
Do you want to be married?
Not right now. Not to him.
Are you going to divorce him?
When he comes back.
Then there's no problem, is there?
I guess not. But Caleb. His eyes found mine, waiting for me to finish. When I didn't, he brought his lips to mine. I sighed as I wrapped my arms around his neck, deepening the kiss. How could I fight this? While the universe kept throwing well-aimed curveballs, this felt more like a gentle moving wiffle ball. I know it'll hit me eventually, but it won't hurt. I felt his tongue tease past my barriers. I let him take control, forgetting everything except the present moment. His hands slipped down my back, dragging me closer until we were pressed so close together no one could pull us apart. I hung on as warm, tingly sensations rippled through me.
Hey, wench. Time to go. We have a full bus.
Lenny yelled. It took enormous willpower to break free from Caleb. My forehead dropped to his chest, allowing a moment to collect myself. I peeked up to find him staring at me. A caramel-colored lock of wavy hair curled at his temple.
Don't go,
he said. I have to. It's my job. I tucked the unruly wave into place and wiggled free from his arms, giving him one last glance before heading to the bus. He grasped my arm.
If I call, will you answer?
I nodded with a small smile. I will.
I'll call you later tonight.
You have a date, remember?
Not anymore,
he said, releasing my arm. He pressed a kiss to my forehead.
Don't forget I want an answer on our wager,
he warned before vanishing into the crowd. The wager. I had nearly forgotten. I stared after Caleb until Lenny laid on the horn. I jumped at the sound, jolting me from the lingering effect of Caleb's kiss. And the wager. He had originally said the offer stands forever. I shook my head, knowing I could never bet with him again. He always wins. But $1 million versus a year of being his girlfriend. It was tempting. And either way, I guess I'd win. How can one man be so deliriously wonderful and horribly bad for a girl at the same time? I guess Grayson would fall into that category too. Maybe I should stay married to Ian. At least he doesn't bother me or make my head spin. But he has those damn gray eyes and dark looks just like his brothers. He even moves like them. Purposeful and predatorial.
Get a move on it or I'll leave you here.
Lenny shouted. I scurried to board the bus as it rolled down the street. I hopped on and scanned the crowded interior. Is Maya on board? I asked, searching for blonde ringlets.
She's manning the wine fountain.
I can't believe you tricked all these people into getting married.
They spun the wheel.
And you just happened to stop the wheel in the right spot.
Hey, I'll have you know I stopped it on the money spots too. I'm 200 down.
Somehow I think your commission will cover the loss, and I'm sure you stopped on show your boobs a couple of times. His lips twitched up as he picked up the bus microphone.
Brides, it's time to pick your groom. We'll be arriving at the bureau soon. Slam the wine, grab a man, and let the honeymoon begin.
Lenny took a sharp turn at full speed. Brides and grooms tripped and clung to each other, bracing themselves against the force. It paired them nicely, I thought, as I witnessed a few blushes and lingering touches.
It's your job to distract Charming before he steals my paycheck.
Lenny said.
I don't care what you have to do, just do it.
I'll do my best, I said.
You'll have to do better than your best. Tug your bodice down lower.
It's down far enough.
Then fluff your hair, make it look like you just had a tumble in bed.
I resisted the urge to smack him over his balding head. I'll take care of Charming. Just hurry the couples through. He pulled the bus near the entrance and stood to scan the couples.
Did everyone find a partner? Is anyone in need of one?
Lenny led the couples to the bureau, spouting directions on what to do once inside. 2 men broke from the pack and bolted down the street.
Come back, you cowards!
Lenny shouted. Once he realized they weren't coming back, he turned to look at the stranded girls. He grumbled and led them back to the bus.
Don't worry, I'll find you both a groom.
A glittery pumpkin pulled up behind the bus. Charming stepped off, surveying the area. His eyes zeroed in on the mateless girls.
What's this? 2 beautiful women in want of a groom? My beauties, allow me the honor of securing your prince.
They giggled as he strode over, pressing a kiss to each of their hands. Lenny's eyes widened and flashed over at me. He tossed his head in Charming's direction, silently giving me the signal to sell my wares. I sighed. I need a new job. I walked over and tapped Charming's shoulder as the girls were in mid-swoon. He turned and froze. His lips curled as his darkened eyes raked over me.
Temptation in its most carnal form. A beauty made for pleasures.
His eyes lingered on my pushed-up cleavage. Lenny used the distraction to hurry the girls onto the bus. He shut the door, blocking their protests. He then headed to the building, giving me a 10-minute signal. I returned my gaze to Charming. Perhaps he would just stare at my breasts for 10 minutes. It would save an awkward conversation. By the way he was staring, they were a source of fascination. He shook his head from the trance.
Tell me, is it true what they say about wenches?
What do they say? He glanced at my lips, suppressing a shiver.
Lips so soft and educated.
My brow rose. As in talking about educated topics, yes.
But surely lips so red and luscious could send a man into sweet torment.
He stepped closer. I stepped back.
Don't tease, beauty. Come to me willingly.
A cold shiver shook through me. Beyond his creepy words, I could see where women would fall for his classic and handsome features. His tight leggings and wide shoulders revealed he was toned with sleek muscles. He was truly Prince Charming right out of the fairy tale books. But there was something about him that made me itch to run. "What's your name?" I asked, stalling.
Prince Charming, at your service.
He said with a sweeping bow. "Your real name?" There was a flicker in his eyes and a moment's hesitation.
My name is anything you want it to be. The real question is, what's your name, my beauty? I already know you work for Frankie, and I know you're trying to distract me.
A smile slid into place.
I don't mind. You're the best distraction he could have sent. I'm willing to concede one night to your charms. It won't affect the outcome of the battle.
Frankie plopped down onto the waiting room couch.
This was the best night we've had in a long time. Whatever you did to flood the chapel with customers worked.
Thanks to my wheels and Nadia's outfit, we couldn't lose.
Lenny chuckled.
You should have seen Charming chase Nadia around the bus. I thought for sure he'd have given up after the first few times around.
Did he finally catch you?
Frankie asked. I pulled off my shoes and let them fall to the floor. Yes, but luckily, Lenny yanked me on the bus and floored it.
I didn't want Charming to get his fill. We'll need to distract him again.
And here I thought you'd saved me out of concern. With a bark of laughter, he said,
I only wanted to save the dress. He looked as if he was going to tear it off. We need to keep it safe. It's his kryptonite.
Lovely. I'm heading to bed, I said, moving toward the staircase.
Nadia, there was a woman here to see you. She said she'd stop by tomorrow morning around 10.
Do you know her name?
She didn't say.
Did she say what it's about? Frankie cocked his head.
Do I look like your secretary? I was a little busy tonight in case you didn't notice. The only thing I can tell you is she's pretty, wealthy, and she has a look in her eye.
What kind of look? Frankie thought for a moment.
It's hard to explain. You'll have to meet her tomorrow and tell me what you think. It's like an intense gaze with a million thoughts zapping through as she takes in everything around her.
Maybe she's a robot from the future sent to kill you.
Lenny offered with a smirk.